In this last unit, we will integrate our installation of Hadoop and Hive and Spark. Okay, and what I'm going to do is pull up a couple of infographics so we know where we've been and where we're going so that what we're going to do in this unit makes a little sense to you. Okay, so if we think about the Hive architecture running in HDFS, now we're using JDBC through the B line to make our requests to Hive. But when we think about Hive, you want to think about two separate services, Hive Server 2 versus the Metastore server. Okay, when we think about Hive Server 2, think about it as the engine that can handle your incoming request. It is the query engine that knows how to optimize your query plan and form an execution plan. All right. But also because we're in Hive, we have this idea of the metastore, right? This relational database that manages schema for your data and the location of your data and partitioning information. So when we make a request, say a query request through JDBC, Hive Server 2 will handle that incoming request. It will have the optimization plan, execution plan set up, but it will also have to talk to the metastore to be able to know where the data is, what the schema is as part of the query execution. Okay, so those are really two separate things, Hive Server 2, Metastore server. Okay, so when we did our initial install of Hive, we took the default Derby database, this little micro database that allows us to work with Hive, but really as one embedded service, right? Basically, the Metastore and the driver, that query engine, is acting in one sort of JVM, right? And with Derby, we can't split that apart, nor can we handle multiple sessions. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just this infographic here is we're going to do a local metastore, which means we will not use Derby. We will use an open source relational database. We could choose something like MySQL, Oracle, or in our case, we're going to choose MariaDB, which is a case of a branch off of MySQL. As soon as we do that, we're going to install MariaDB, but now that'll allow us to set up Hive so that those two things, Hive Server 2, the Metastore server, can run as two separate services. Okay? And we'll see that over the course of this install. Great. So in this video, what we need to do is install MariaDB, and that's all we're going to do. So I'm going to jump over to my JVM with a quick reminder when you start up this lab, or if you walk away from your VM and shut it down, do remember to always start use the two scripts, start DFS sh and start yarn.sh. Running these two shell scripts will start up all the daemons we need. Then run a JPS. Make sure you've got all these daemons running in your VM. So you'll always need Hadoop up and running before we do any of our Hive configuration changes. Okay, so let me just clear the screen here. So in this video, all we're going to do is install and set up MariaDB, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so it's always recommended before you do an installation that you run a sudo apt update, and this will update the packages, the list of packages on your machine. And so we'll just run that. That won't take that long, so I won't pause the video for that to occur. All right, and once that's done, then we can actually, we'll clear the screen here, and we're going to install MariaDB server and MariaDB client. So that'll be another sudo command, and it's going to be an apt install command, and we'll do MariaDB DB server. That's with a dash, and then MariaDB dash client. And we'll let that run. We'll be prompted, so I'll say yes. When you run that command, you can also do a -y and put that onto the end, and then you won't be paused and processed for that yes answer there. Again, I won't pause the machine because it doesn't take too long for this to run, and we'll have MariaDB client and server installed. Okay, there we go. All right, the last things that we're going to do here is we're going to start up the MariaDB service and enable it. So that's another sudo command, and that's the system control command. And so we're going to refer to enabling MariaDB. We'll do that. And then we're going to run a sudo system control command again, and we're going to start up MariaDB. Okay, so that's great. By doing those two commands, it's as if, if we imagine if we're in Windows and we look at our services, we have SQL service running in the background. Same thing now here. MariaDB is enabled and running as a service, and you don't need to run that again. Now when you load up your VM, MariaDB will start up. Okay, and so that is said and done. All right. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to run through MySQL Secure installation. Right now the root password for my MariaDB is nothing, so we'll just set up a root password and leave it at that. So what we're going to do here, one more sudo command, and we're going to refer to MySQL underscore secure underscore installation. And we'll just follow a set of prompts. So right now, with the current password for root is empty, it's nothing. So just hit your enter key. Okay, there you go. We already have a root account protective, so I can answer no to this. I'm going to say N to that. All right, change the root password. We're going to say yes. Let's change that. And the new password, let's just do our course code all in caps. So prog 1330, and we'll just do that one more time and make sure that's good. All right. Yes, let's remove the anonymous user. So I'm going to say yes to that. We don't need that. And yes, we're going to disallow remote login. Not really applicable to us here. And yes, we'll get rid of our test database. Okay, and this will reload our privileges. Okay, good. So we have successfully set up MariaDB. Before we end this video, let's just make sure we can log into MariaDB. So we start with just typing MariaDB, and then we're going to go -u for the user, and we're going to go in under the root account. Kind of think of that like the SA account in SQL Server. And we're going to go -p, and won't provide anything, so it'll prompt us for the password. And let's enter the password that we set up in that secure installation step. Notice, if you've done that correctly, here we are now not at the Linux command line prompt, but here we are at MariaDB's command line prompt. I'll end this video here, and in the next video we'll stay at this prompt and look at creating the Metastore database that will act as the storage medium for our schema and partition information, etc. for Hive.